If you're buying a home, getting your offer accepted feels like the hardest part, and in a lot of ways, it is. But this is also the point where the real process begins, and this is the stage where most buyers start to feel unsure because no one really explained what happens step by step. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens after your offer gets accepted, including timelines, what to expect, and what actually matters so nothing catches you off guard. Hey everyone, it's Shelby Ramirez, aka Sheebs, with the Peterson & Co. Real Estate team. If you're thinking about buying here in the Northwest Metro or just trying to understand the process before jumping in, this is exactly what you want to know ahead of time, because once your offer is accepted, things start moving pretty quickly. And the more you understand going into it, the smoother it's going to feel. So let's walk through this from accepted offer all the way to closing. First thing that happens is the earnest money. This is your good faith deposit showing the sellers you're serious about moving forward. Typically, this is submitted within about 48 hours of your offer being accepted. And in most cases, earnest money is usually around 1% of the purchase price, but that can vary depending on how the offer is structured. That earnest money is typically held in a trust account with the listing brokerage during the transaction. Now, a big misconception here: this is not extra money and you're not losing it. The earnest money actually gets applied back to you at closing, either towards your down payment or your closing costs. So it's really just being held and then credited back to you at the end. Where this becomes important is actually understanding. As long as you're operating within your contingencies like inspection or financing, you are protected. So if something comes up during those periods and you need to back out, you're not just automatically losing that money. That's why how your offer is written matters so much on the front end. Next is your inspection period. This typically happens within the first 5 to 10 days after your offer is accepted. And this is one of the most important parts of the entire process, but this is also where a lot of buyers misunderstand what this step actually is. A lot of people go into an inspection thinking this is basically a full to-do list for the sellers to fix everything, and that's not really the purpose. The purpose of the inspection is to help you understand the condition of the home and what you're actually buying. No home is going to be perfect. Even newer homes will have things that come up. So what are we actually looking for here? We're focusing on safety concerns, major mechanical issues, and structural items, things like electrical concerns, plumbing issues, roof condition, foundation, the stuff that could cost you money or affect how the home functions long term, not things like minor cosmetic wear and tear. Now, after the inspection, you have a few options. You can move forward as is, you can ask for repairs or credits, or if something major comes up, you can probably walk away. This step is really about clarity and protection, not trying to make the home perfect. Now, once you're through inspection, the next step is the appraisal. The appraisal is ordered by your lender, and the appraiser's job is to determine if the home is worth what you agreed to pay, because the bank is not going to lend money on something that is overpriced. If the home appraises at value or higher, great, perfect, you can move forward. If it comes in low, this is where people start to get a little nervous. But you still have options. You can negotiate the price, you can bring in additional cash, or depending on your contract, you may be able to walk away. Now, most deals still will come together here, but it's definitely something you want to be aware of going in. Now, at the same time all of this is happening, underwriting is also going on in the background. This is where your lender is fully reviewing your financials, your income, employment, credit, bank statements, and basically everything, because they want to make sure it's all going to be verified, and this is usually the longest part of the process. This is also where buyers sometimes feel like, why are they asking me for more documents again? Don't worry, it's totally normal. The biggest thing here is to stay responsive and don't make any major financial changes. No big purchases, no opening new credit lines, and no switching jobs. Just keep everything the same and steady until you close. This is what gets you fully approved and clear to close, and as you get closer to closing, you'll do a final walkthrough. This is something I personally prefer to do either the day before closing or the day of closing. Ideally, I like the day of, because then you're seeing the home in the exact condition it is before you go to that closing table. This is just the final check. You're making sure the home is still in the condition you agreed to, any negotiated repairs are completed, and everything that was supposed to stay is still there. This is not another inspection, it's just a final confirmation before ownership transfers. And then you have closing day. From accepted offer to closing, most transactions are around 30 to 45 days depending on financing and timelines. Now on closing day, you'll sign all the final documents, you're gonna bring your ID, bring any remaining funds needed for closing, and I will be honest, there will be a decent amount of paperwork, but don't worry because your lender and title company will walk you through everything. Now, once everything is signed and the funds are transferred, you get the keys, and that's when it all becomes real. So that's the full breakdown of what happens after your offer gets accepted. And honestly, when you understand the timeline and what each step actually means, the entire process feels a lot less overwhelming. So if you have questions about your situation, or if you're thinking about buying and just want to understand what this would look like for you, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help however that looks for you. And if this was helpful, make sure to subscribe. I'll keep breaking down the parts of real estate that most people don't explain. See you next time.